Hello, everybody, and welcome to this week's episode of It's a Sure Thing, the global conscious community platform where we interview people and guests who are making a difference in the world. This week we have an amazing woman who is very passionate about supporting and helping each other. She's spent the last 40 years in community working and supporting others, and she is one of South Australia's incredible breathwork practitioners. And it's going to be amazing to speak to her and find out about all the amazing things that she does. She may have met her at the last year's Enlighten Adelaide Festival, where she did a workshop, come and try. It was a workshop, and she showed people how to actually breathe consciously with breathwork therapy. So it gives me great pleasure to welcome the amazing Verity van Balen. Verity, welcome. How are you?
Hi, I'm great. Thanks, Sue. Thanks for inviting me on.
Thank you for being here, and thank you to everybody. If you've tuned in and you're listening tonight, please let us know, send us a hi, and let us know where you're listening from. And let's keep connected in this conversation. So Verity, 40 years you've been working supporting others in community and lots of other different things. And then when did you become a breathwork practitioner?
Well, it was 2012. So November's going to be 10 years now that I've been a breathwork practitioner. A year and a half ago, just recently gave up my government job to take the leap of faith and just do what I love, what I'm passionate about. Yeah.
And how was that for you to step out of that kind of sense of security, if you like, and actually that leap of faith? How did it feel?
It was a little bit scary, but it was almost my body, when we're in and doing the work, we are often not listening to ourselves either. So actually my body was telling me that I needed to leave and do what I'm meant to be doing, which is my breathwork practice.
Yeah. And I bet the breathwork helped you as well, didn't
it? Certainly did. Yeah.
So can I ask Verity, why did you get into breathwork? I know there's lots of different modalities out there, but certain ones resonate with certain people. So why breathwork for you?
Well, I always knew that I was supposed to be doing something within this, within what modality it was. I wasn't sure. I fell into it actually. I had some memories that I had suppressed for 40 years that partially returned. And then I was led to a come and try. Bronwyn Barter was my teacher, and her husband worked with my husband. And he actually invited my husband and I along to come and try a breathwork session. And I was the one asking all the questions, and then I went along to Bronwyn to have a session with her, which helped me to recover the memories that I had suppressed for 40 years. And it had such a profound effect on my life that when she said that she was doing a training and asked me if I'd like to do it, I didn't hesitate. It was just like, yes, this is it. This is, I can do this. What it's done for me, I can give to others. Yeah.
Fantastic. Yeah. And now you do this in lots of different ways. We will talk about what is breathwork therapy in a moment, because Adair has just mentioned, she's curious about it. She didn't know it was a modality. And I don't think people do realize it is you run events, you run women's circles, you run lots of different things. But I'll just quickly say hello to Nicole Haley. She said hello from Adelaide. Thanks, Nicole. Nice to have you here. So could you explain to us, please, what breathwork therapy is?
Okay. So I've learned two different types of breathwork therapy. So the one that I was just talking about is the conscious connected breathing. So what it does is it oxygenates your body and brings up stuff that you may have stored or that's had an impact in your life that's got stuck in your body. So what the breath does is it oxygenates that and brings it to the surface and lets you look at it and then feel it and then let it go. Most of us in our life have been told to push the pain away and not feel it. Well, we do the opposite with the breath, is to actually feel the pain. Sometimes you know what it's about and sometimes you don't. You don't have to know what it's about. It's about bringing up what your body's ready to let go of, and it gives you more clarity to move forward. Yeah.
Beautifully described. Now, I will just describe a little bit about what happened to me, because I went along because you said to me, come and have a try. And I went along to your women's circle with sound bath.
Yes.
It was with my friend Michelle, and I just went along, just curious, no expectation, just lie down on my yoga mat and get all comfortable and just enjoy it, because I know what a sound bath is. So I thought, yeah, this will be lovely. Well, I think I didn't stop crying for quite a long time in that process. And you know, the facilitators, you came over and a few other people came over and just held space for me and just made sure I was okay. And I can't even explain what happened. I just know that doing the breath allowed something to come up, like you say. So you don't know.
Yeah. So in our life from our birth, so it was actually called rebirth in breathwork, but people had preconceived ideas of what that was about. So basically what happens is, from your birth, patterns of behavior follow you. So we have, I use an analogy that you know, we all have our garden. We have a garden that seeds have been planted from our ancestors, from our grandparents, from our parents, from environment like school, religion, friends. And it's what breathwork does is it gives you the opportunity to become true and authentic to you and work out which parts of this garden and the seeds you want to keep and which ones you want to let go of. And that's how I describe it. And that's I love that analogy of what it does, and that you can actually let it go. Yeah.
Beautiful. Take the weeds out and just water and nurture the blooming, the beautiful blooms. Yeah.
That's
beautiful.
Authentically you. Yeah.
Thank you for sharing that. So you do personal one-on-one sessions from Seaview Downs in Adelaide, and you also do your regular events at the SA Wellness Centre. Hayley's just asked, where are you based? Right, we're just on to that. Thank you, Nicole. That's excellent. Yeah. So let us know a little bit about the your treatments at home.
What I felt was that a lot of women's issues are men. No offense, men, but it's. I felt that we needed a safe space for women to come to do breath work, to come and try breath work. So when you're in a group, you don't tend to go as deep, but you know, you still it still works, as you discovered. So it's so I run those every second Friday of the month, and then I collaborate with a beautiful lady, Glenys, and she does the sound bath about every 3 months. So that's up at O'Halloran Hill SA Wellness Centre. Yeah.
Beautiful. Thank you. And for people who can't get there, or, you know, because this is a global platform, can they book a session with you online?
Well, they can. I prefer to do the face to face, because I like to, you know, if you get teary, I like to get the tissues and to be able to do that and hold that space. But I have done a few sessions online, so if people are open to that, I can facilitate that as well.
Okay, fantastic. And we've got Marie. Hi, Marie. She said it's fascinating. Sounds like a wonderful healing. Yes, it is. And I know Marie lives in Golgol, New South Wales. And Adair's also asked, you work online with clients. She's in Queensland, so you know we've got a bit of an interstate reach here at the moment. So thank you everyone for joining us. So Now then, you've got another special event coming up as well in Minlerton.
Yes. So I've been asked. So I can run circles for both men and women, and a beautiful woman, Amanda Cleland. She has Holistic Heights. She calls it her beautiful space there, and she's asked me to come and bring the Breathwork circle to her space. So yeah, I'm doing that. I think that's September. Yeah.
1st of September, I think it is.
Yeah.
Yes, 1st of September. And the other thing is your corporate breath awareness programs, and also the other programs that you can do for groups of people, hens nights and families. I know this is one of the ones that you really want to get more in touch with, but you can go anywhere. You can go to school groups, you can go to playgrounds, so
on the beach. I was running the program on the beach for a couple of years there. I found that it limited some clients that couldn't get to the beach. And then I was running it at the park across the road from the beach. So it was still Breathe on the beach, but it was across the road. But I'm happy to go. I really would like to get into schools. I could run it for the teachers, but I'd really love to run it for families so that they can work together with it. So often I find that an example of a few years back when I was driving the car with my daughter and someone ran in the front of me and I think I might have swore or something. And she goes, "Mum, remember, breathe over the waterfall." So it was about, I think it's also a great tool to share with the family. And I think it can also not only help you to breathe when you're feeling this emotional charge in your body, it also can defuse, I think, the situation. So if mum and dad are disagreeing and the child says, "Remember to breathe," it sort of gets them to go, "Oh," and think about what they're doing and being aware of what's happening in their body. Yeah.
I think that sounds absolutely beautiful, that if we can do that for more families where everybody respects each other and just keeps each other on target, if you like, and yeah.
And we're living in a world of, there's a lot of dysfunctional with families, and I think there's some misdiagnosis with children and behavioural frustration with other medical issues. And I'd love to be able to teach these children, which I've had experience in doing with children, how to breathe when they feel that in their body. So it's being aware of what happens to your body when you're being, if someone's yelling at you or if you're being bullied or whatever the situation is, and teaching them to be aware of what happens to them in their body. So does their tummy hurt? Does my chest hurt or my heart start pumping, or can I not breathe or I get a headache? So once they're aware of what is happening in their body and teaching them how to breathe to bring back calmness and clarity. And also what happens is if you do this breath that I teach, every time this situation happens, the body, it actually gets less and less and less until it doesn't affect you anymore. So
because it just becomes natural.
Yes.
Becomes habit.
And we should actually be nose breathers, and that's another subject as well.
Okay, so well, just talking about that, would you be able to just take us through a short breathwork demonstration?
No, for that one I can. Obviously, with the circles, and that is not something you can do like this, but this one is, yeah. Okay, so our noses are made for breathing. Okay, so we have the hair follicles in our nose. We have the mucus in our nose that cools and filters the germs. So normally you wouldn't see me breathing out of my mouth. The only time my mouth is usually open is when I'm talking and eating. Well, and I talk a lot, so but mouth closed and breathing in and out of your nose. So say, you've got someone, and I worked in quite a stressful job. So I used to teach the staff this practice. So every week we either did meditation or I taught them this breathing. So it's about closing the mouth and breathing circular in and out of your nose. So I've got a bit of Greek in me, so I'll use my hands just to show you. It's closing your mouth and nose breathing. So and then there's one more step as you get to the top. Imagine that you're breathing wherever you're feeling that emotion in your body, that you're releasing it up and out over a waterfall. Okay, so the other thing is that there is a bit more to it where you actually really relax your belly. We're taught in our life to contract and to hold everything so tight, and it affects our whole being, the contraction. But really doing the opposite.
Sorry, I was just going to ask, so when you breathe in, are you breathing in from the diaphragm or the belly or the base?
Imagine that you're breathing. Imagine that you're blowing up a balloon in your belly.
Okay.
And then it expands out and up into your lungs, and the more you do this, you'll notice how much more you can breathe in and how much everything else expands. So we only empty part of our breath. Yeah. So it's my teacher, and I must acknowledge Christine Hart-Savage, who was my teacher for this, and she's in Victoria, and her business is Soul Connection, and she taught me this technique and other bits and pieces with it. But yes, that's the gist of it.
Okay, so I have a little question for you actually, because with meditation, I've always been of the belief that you breathe in through the nose and then you breathe out through the mouth. So this is interesting. It's a different conscious connected breath work.
That's the other thing I didn't say, sorry, was that there's no pause with your in and out of the nose. Sorry. So it's circular. Okay. So sorry, I don't think I said that. But
no.
Yes.
That's okay. So it's constant.
I use the nose breathing for meditation. I know a lot of people do what you do, but I always use the nose breathing. It calms the mind. It's more, the nose breathing is more about the mind and giving clarity. My sister, who's a teacher, she teaches they have to reapply for their jobs every year. So whenever she was on the way to an interview, she would say, she'd ring me up and say, Verity, can you just remind me how to do that breathing again? So on her way to her interview, she would do this breathing, and it just gave her clarity and calm to answer. Yeah.
Beautiful. So that's the difference between keeping it in through the nostrils, through the nose, that circular breath. Yeah. Right. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Fantastic. Do this good question. Do you do this purposely for a number? Okay. So how long do you usually do that for?
Yeah. When I first started, I set my alarm on my phone for every hour and do 20. But I breathe that way all the time.
Yeah.
So we were actually born to be nose breathers, but somehow we change. So yeah, practice so that it becomes just you do it all the time.
And should you just get deeper and deeper and lengthen the breath as much as possible, because then that just takes all the oxygen through the whole body? Is that the idea of that?
Yeah. And usually always try to the out breath to be longer. So you're actually emptying your breath. So you're not leaving the stale breath in your lungs. Yeah.
Okay, that's fascinating. So if people haven't done this before, can you get a little bit dizzy sometimes if you haven't had a lot of breath to the...
You shouldn't. No. Just keeping it nice and slow. We don't want you hyperventilating, because that's when that sort of thing would happen, the dizziness and the panic. So yeah, just still just nice and slow. Just your normal rhythm of your breath. Yeah.
Beautiful. And you had a little story to share before when we were talking, because at Enlighten Adelaide Festival, you actually did a breathwork session at the festival there. And can you just share a bit of that little experience that you had with the family?
Yeah. So like I said, I love children to be involved, because I think it's really important, the younger they are, that they can have tools to help them to deal with the frustrations in their life. So this little boy that was in the session, he was about 10, I think, about 10. And so I was asking him all the questions like, how do you feel? Because the mother was saying different things about his behaviour and stuff like that. So I was asking him how he felt in his body. And so he described to me, he gets a sore tummy and his heart pumps and all this sort of stuff. And then anyway, so I went through it, and I was teaching him how to breathe. And then about an hour, so it was his mother and himself, and then there was other people in the group as well. But then about an hour later, when I was back at my my stall, the mother came up to me and she says, "Oh, my husband's just come here, and he's asking what I've done to our son." And it was just the fact that I taught him how to breathe, and he was just a lot calmer. Yeah.
Wow.
So that was lovely. So instantly it can have an effect on you. It's not something that takes lots of time to practice before you can get any relief from it. You can get relief instantly. Yeah. It's amazing. Your breath is with you all the time. You can't leave home without it. And so, and the other good thing about it is that people don't have to know what you're doing. So you can actually be in a conflicting or confrontational situation, and if you just start doing this breathing, they don't know, and all you're doing is keeping yourself calm and also giving yourself some clarity to be able to answer without being reacting, so responding rather than reacting.
Yeah, and that's less obvious when you've got your mouth closed, isn't it? Rather than kind of going,
yeah.
Pretty obvious that you're getting annoyed.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
So practicing a bit like when we had babies, and they'd say practice at the traffic lights when you're doing, your Braxton hip. No, what are they? What were they called? Those pelvic floors. Yeah, practice that. So same thing. Practice your breathing when you're at traffic lights. If you don't set your phone. But that's what I did to really get on top of it. Was every hour.
Great. And so if people want to come and book in for a private session with you, how long does your first session usually go for?
So the first session can be up to 3 hours. It's not always, but it can be up to 3 hours, because we basically go from, as I said earlier, it's patterns of behavior that follow you from your whole life. And even your birth can have an impact on how you live today. Yeah. So I've got an identical twin. So we were about 6 weeks premature, and she is, and I was they didn't know I was there, and 2 hours later they pulled me out by the feet. So
oh my God.
Our morning looks a bit like I wake up, I get my cup of coffee, I come back to bed, and I give her a call, and it'll be she's either racing around the house, doing the dishes or doing whatever, or she's already at work. And sometimes I just have to go, oh, I'll talk to you later because you're wearing me out, you know. So that has followed us in that way, you know, and you can sometimes get explanation through your breath, as the other breath that I was talking about before, for patterns of behavior that you have in your life. And it's you have realizations and you go, oh, you know, that's why that happened. You know, I had a lady that she was like 65, 70, something like that, and she had to come and had a breathing session with me and realized that something that she had been blaming her mother her whole life for, she realized it actually wasn't her mother, it was her grandmother. So she was like racing out to go and say sorry to her mother because she thought it was her mother all this time. So, yeah, it's amazing how we can also interpret or change what actually happened in our own minds. Yeah. Yeah.
Yes, that perception from being a child and how it and what actually happened and all of that kind of stuff it has an impact, and it stays with you until you just bring awareness to it with whatever modality you're working with. So,
and it takes courage. It takes courage to step out of something that, and to face things that have happened to you. But you know, just know that when you have that courage to do it, and it takes you to the other end, the peace that it brings you. You know, when you asked me how I got into it, I came back from Kangaroo Island and I said to my husband, I need peace and tranquility. I had no idea why I said it, but I uttered the words, and then this just fell into my lap. And now, you know, I have this peace and tranquility that I didn't even know what it felt like. And it's just such a beautiful thing to be able to give to people, to see them come in such pain and leave so much more, a weight lifted off them, you know, and it's just beautiful. I think I should do before and after photos sometimes.
Probably, yes. Yeah, probably. Well, you do it very well. You hold space really well. You just such a beautiful, compassionate soul. And you've just got time for everybody, and I really appreciate that and have seen that with everything that you've done. And just wish you all the success in the world with this, and I hope you get it into every single school. I really, really do.
Yeah. Thank you.
Awesome. So your next session or your next group breathwork is Friday, the 12th.
Yeah, Friday the 12th. So not tomorrow, but the following Friday is at O'Halloran Hill, and that's a special one because I have my special guest, Glenys, who I collaborate, and she's bringing the sound bath. So yeah, it just raises the energy just that bit more, and it's it's beautiful.
It is beautiful. So
she plays her gongs and she sings and she plays the crystal bowls and her little bells, and it's beautiful. Just beautiful.
It is. That's the one that I attended, isn't it?
Exactly. Yes.
Yeah. So highly recommend it if you can get along. And you don't have to participate if you don't want to. If you just want to fall asleep, you can do. So it's just, you know, people bring their sleeping bags and blankets and pillows and lie down.
I encourage people to bring the water bottle and a blanket. There are blankets there, but people like to have their own snuggly. Just makes you feel more comfy along. And enjoy.
Beautiful. Otherwise, they can get in touch with you for their own private events or private parties or sessions or whatever they want.
You can book in on my website. So www.breathworkadelaide.com.au. Oh, there it is. There it is.
Yep, it's there. Adez already put it in the comments actually. So, well, it's quite amazing that it's something that we already have. We've just got to keep using it consciously. Yeah. So thank you. Thank you so much, Verity, and thank you everybody for joining in and for putting up some questions and asking all about it as well. So hope that you can get along and see Verity and start using that amazing breath in the future. So thank you so much for being our guest this week.
Thanks for inviting me, Sue. It's been a pleasure.
Thank you. We'll see you around. Take care, everyone.
Bye.
Namaste.
Namaste.